You're actually the first one I've interviewed who's had a lung transplant, double lung transplant, because, with kids who've had liver and kidney and heart even, like from my understanding, those, because they're organs that are very protected by your body, it's a very different life expectancy. And this is why it's so scary with lung transplants. Hi, everyone. What you're about to watch was filmed before I had a double lung transplant. I'm Temtchine. I'm a singer and a songwriter, and for the past 12 years, I've been living with pulmonary hypertension. It's a true miracle that I'm alive today. I created Super Brave Kids because I believe that children who are living with chronic health conditions have the answers to some of life's most challenging questions, which is why I call this series of interviews Life Lessons from Super Kids. Join us as we interview kids from all over the world who have one thing in common. They're all superheroes disguised as kids. Please help me welcome today's guest. Who are you?
My name is Donahue, and I was diagnosed with PH at birth, and I had it for 15 years, and almost a year ago, actually, July 18th of 2019, I had a double lung transplant.
Do you have any idea why you had PH at birth?
Yes, I was born with a hole in my diaphragm. I had about a third of my diaphragm missing. And that caused my lungs to be underdeveloped and caused me to have PH.
That's amazing. And there's nothing they could have done for the diaphragm, in other words, to help the pH.
I don't think so. They also never caught it in any of my mom's ultrasounds or anything. So
pulmonary hypertension is obviously a serious thing. You were born with this. How did you manage? Like, what was your life before? Was it very severe, I'm guessing?
Yeah, it was. So I kind of didn't know any different. So I just, went through my life like, I don't know, I just didn't know any different. So at first I was okay. My pressures were in the 50s. I was doing great. I was able to catch up with people and stuff. And then about 2017 to 2018, my pressure started getting worse, and I was at first around 160 for my pressure, and then September of 2018, I had my BDA reopened, and during that procedure, they found that my pressures were over 200.
And just context for people who are watching who don't know about pulmonary hypertension, which is that normal pressures are under 25, basically, for people without it. For people who have it, severe is kind of like 50 and 60. 100 is like crazy and unheard of. And 200 is like, mine were at 180 when I was diagnosed. So I understand like severity, but 200, that is like unheard of. So that is as severe as it gets. Just for context, you're 15 now. Is that right?
I'm 16 now.
You're 16 now. So when did it reach its worst? How old were you?
It started getting really bad in 6th grade when I was on a Renatram. That's kind of when it went up to 160 and just kept going. So I was in 8th or 9th grade. Okay. So whenever it was over 200.
When it was at its worst, what was your life like? Could you walk?
So we actually have an office. We only have one bedroom downstairs, which is my parents. But we have an office down there. So I had to get that converted to my room for a little bit because I would totally black out every time I came upstairs. It wasn't very fun. Yeah. So I moved downstairs for about a year and a half to 2 years. And I just stopped. I mean, my friend wouldn't really invite me over anymore because I couldn't really do anything.
How did you decide it was time to have a transplant? First, let's start there. I mean, how did this all happen?
Well, we were really against. We were one of the families, so I was like, no way, never doing that. So my doctor kind of stopped talking about it with us because he kind of knew we were like, no way.
Yes.
And it got to the point where I was getting like worse and worse. I was on the highest dose of amoxicillin for the central line, and after about a year or so, we're just like, okay, we think it's time. Like it's either that I'm not gonna really make it much longer. And I learned as much about it as I could and made sure I was okay with everything, the good and the bad. And the biggest thing for me, I think, was being okay with not making it. Like, that was the biggest thing I had to overcome, was just being okay with not making it out of surgery or stuff like that. But I was like, my thought process was, I was like, I could have pH and no pH and live for like 5 years without pH, or I could still have it and just be in a better state for about 5 more years, and transplant would just be harder then. So that's kind of when I made my decision. I was like, okay.
Tell me again how long it's been since you.
It will be a year on July 18th.
And what's your life like now?
When I say the first year is about the hardest year, so it's been kind of up and down now. I am really thankful that I can breathe, and nothing with my lungs has been an issue, but I've had some stomach problems that I've been in and out of the hospital for. Just different little things that keep happening, but I did get to the point where I could run. At one point, I ran a little bit on the treadmill. And
how did it feel?
It was awesome. I don't know.
It must be crazy, you know, to go from not being able to get to the bathroom to being able to run on the treadmill. Wow, you know.
And then I went up to my cousin's wedding, but I was very careful with that.
But that's so exciting, because that's like a real, you're back into the world. It must have felt amazing.
Yeah, it was. And I've been at other weddings before. I wasn't able to really dance on the dance floor, that actually must get tired. But this past one, the one of my 3 months, I danced all night long, and I was able to stay up longer with everyone. It's really amazing.
What would you say if I asked you, what is your greatest challenge?
There's depression and everything that happens after transplant that a lot of people don't talk about. But
depression?
Yeah.
Can you tell me just a little bit about that? Because that's very interesting.
So right after transplant, kind of like how we are now, you're quarantined, but very strictly. My mom would not let me go anywhere, absolutely nowhere. So and all the medicines also cause depression. After you're past the kind of first part of healing, towards the end of the 3 months, you start feeling better. You feel like you can do things, but then you're like, no, I can't, because I'm still in my first 3 months. I did get a lot of depression, because I would see my siblings go out, go to parties, do stuff with their friends, and with any big thing you have in life, your true friends are who would still with you. So unfortunately, I had some friends who kind of just didn't talk to me afterwards too much. Yeah. So that kind of messed with me a little bit. But yeah, you get some depression afterwards.
What are some things that you've discovered about yourself that you're like, wow, I didn't know that I was like that?
Probably more of just positivity. One thing specifically about the transplant that I realized that I never thought would have happened is I was just super calm through the whole thing. I woke up, I was super calm.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah. Wow. Okay, peaceful, calm. Yeah, I like that. Yeah. So can you tell me what your superpowers are?
Yeah, I would say that positivity, being calm, and just a lot of gratitude towards my donors family.
What would a superhero be to you?
Someone who is just positive and they can, I've seen a lot of people who've been in really bad spots and they get out of it, and they've just very inspirational to me. So just someone who can stay positive through hard times, and it's just who I try to be and who I look up to.
What is your superhero name?
My superhero name is Super Lungs.
Super Lungs. I love it. And I love that we see your super lungs behind you too. What is the meaning of life?
The meaning of life is just I say I like to live my life, but like just not focusing on, like, sometimes you should focus on the future, wanting to go to college and stuff. And yes, I focus on that, but I don't focus all my attention on that. I focus on what would make me proud if I were to die, like tonight. What would make me proud to do, to say I've done, and stuff like that. Just live my life, kind of thing.
Yeah, so it's really like living now, for now, it sounds like.
Yeah. My cousin got diagnosed with cancer probably like a year or two ago. And at that time, I was like, yeah, I mean, it sucks. You got cancer, but like, you're going to realize how much life is worth and like everything like that. And I was like, it's going to be a good outcome. And she didn't, he fortunately didn't get like a death-threatening cancer. But I was like, this is going to make you realize how important life is.
Exactly.
And like, just be that more thankful for living every day. So.
Amen. Amen. Yeah. Talk about life lesson. There it is right there. You just said it right there. Yeah, I think that's it. It's so great to talk to you. Yeah.
It's great to talk to you too.
Thank you very much for all of this. This was really wonderful.
I love being able to share my stories. So this is amazing.
Excellent. Wonderful. Well, I know it's going to help a lot of people. Mwah! Now I have to learn how to end this thing.